Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
The Daily Compliance News for March 5, 2025, the EY Not Guilty edition. And we begin with that story from Reuters, which notes that a German court says EY is not liable for damages in the Wirecard suit. They said that EY Germany cannot be held liable for damages over its flawed audits of the now-defunct payment company. EY faced considerable fallout from the 2020 collapse of Wirecard, one of Europe's biggest accounting scandals ever, after the company found no problems with Walmart over the years. It had a 2-year ban on taking new audits for companies of public interest. The audit company could not be held liable on its reports because Wirecard did not qualify as a public capital market information. So there you go. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Richard Vandeford reporting that the Department of Justice has asked the trial judge in the Cognizant executive's bribery case to put the case on hold while they try to figure out what Donald Trump's suspension of FCPA enforcement means for this trial. The lead trial attorney for the U.S. asked the court for 180 days as they weigh how to apply Trump's executive order pausing FCPA enforcement. The court did not rule at the hearing, and the defendants have asked that the case be dismissed based upon Trump's order. Next up, in an article that I hope every compliance professional will read, it comes from New York Times Deal Book, and it's entitled Gaming Out Trump's Next Tariffs Moves. And this is precisely what I think compliance professionals need to be thinking about as we move into this era of increased chaos under the Trump administration. How do you game out tariffs, and what does it mean? Is your supply chain coming from the EU and Europe in jeopardy because of Trump's moves against Ukraine and the disparaging remarks he's making about Europe and the United Kingdom? How are you going to game all of this out and be prepared for the next move? And finally, our final story comes to us from the Financial Times, which says that Deloitte has linked office attendance to bonuses. The tax staff in the U.S. has been told their presence will be considered in performance reviews. So getting back to the office is going to become either more costly or more painful if you don't at Deloitte. And there's one way to drive behavior. It's to evaluate it as part of your year-end performance review. And now Deloitte seems to be saying that we're going to take this into account for both your pay and your overall performance. Good luck. At the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.